Good morning and welcome to the next podcast, and Collier-talks cricket memorabilia. It's the morning after the night before of the finals of the 100. Whether you've been taken by that or not, I don't know. I did watch them yesterday, or not the ladies one, because that was just too early for me. So I managed to get the men's one, which unfortunately, as soon as Livingstone was out, the game was over really. But hopefully Livingstone's going to be in the World Cup T20 squad. So look forward to seeing him whacking a few more balls. But for me, it was a bit of a slogfest 100. Many people liked it, many people didn't like it, especially the cricket purists and what have you. But it got on mainline TV, which is the main thing, and hopefully there's a few more million people watch it rather than not on Sky TV. So why they couldn't actually negotiate the T20 for some games to be on the BBC, I don't know, or any terrestrial station. That would have negated the need for the 100. But it's been good. Some like it, some don't. So anyway, onwards and upwards. Probably going to be another few games on it next season, I expect. So there we go, onwards and upwards. So anyway, a few things that turned up this week. One thing I forgot about last week actually was Dave Battersby's new booklet with an appreciation of Jack Phillips, who was manager of New Zealand team 1949 and 1958. A nice sort of put together little booklet. Generally set out quite quickly, and this is number 29. There's a little copy photograph there of Jack Phillips. Well put together book, Dave, well done. So it's onwards and upwards for him. Next thing that turned up this week was the Cricket Society news bulletin. All sorts of different stories in there, and people putting things together, and just generally talking about cricket and other things, and AGM and all that sort of stuff. I think they're going to do a trip to the West Indies and whatever, so should be quite a good year for the Cricket Society. Well run Cricket Society, like the Cricket Memorabilia Society, but this has been going a bit longer, so well worth its £21 a year if you're into that sort of thing. It's nice stuff. So anyway, just an update on a thing from last week as well, which was the photograph of the Gloucestershire side, 1933, which is this one here. Now, Bloodhound Swinford has been onto this, and he knows of a photograph that has got Barker in there, superimposed in there, and that's at Cheltenham, or Gloucester. So this one we think is at the Wagon Works ground, but we're not 100% sure, so more work there for the Bloodhound to do. But nice photograph anyway, so a bit of history there. So a few things that turned up this week. Was a Sydney Cricket Ground members medal, or members medallion should I say, from 1955-56. So now that goes with my Melbourne one that turned up a few weeks ago. I've started collecting a few badges, but a year ago. I've got an Adelaide one now and a Melbourne one, and I've also got a Sydney one. So I don't pretend to want them all, but what I don't know is whether Brisbane and Perth actually produced them or not. So perhaps someone could say whether they did or not. But they're quite a nice little thing to collect. All enamel on there, quite nice. I'm quite impressed with them actually, especially the Melbourne one. So a couple of other things that came this week was some autographs. I've started to do, or trying to collect some rarer autographs of, well, I've got quite a few of the England ones, so the Australian ones here. This is Bruce Francis, who was 1972 tour to England and played for Essex as well. So, and with Test he played 3 test matches on that tour, so reasonably rare one there, Bruce Francis. There's quite a rare one here, Stephen Barry Smith. Played for the West Indies, or played for Australia in the West Indies, should I say. Obviously not a relation to the Steve Smith, but quite a nice autograph anyway. So I think he played 3 test matches in the West Indies, early 80s. So quite a nice signature there. And then the next one is Rex Sellers. And he played 1 test match, 1964 for Australia in England. In India actually, on the England and Australia tour, so quite a rarish one there. So 3 nice signatures there to go in the book. I found a photograph of them so I can put them in and add that to it. So other couple of things that I found this week in the box when I was clearing around were these nice rare, this one's from 1927, produced from the London area. This has got all sorts of information here on the players of Middlesex, Surrey, Essex and Middlesex. Quite a nice little booklet that. And even a rare, that's 1927, and a rarer one, this one is 1923 from the Surrey Cricket Club, and it's got this oval cricket guide, so it's got everything in there that you need to know about Surrey County Cricket Club in 1922. And I got these actually, I remember, from an auction. I think the guy's name there is Parkinson, and if I remember rightly, there was quite a few caps involved. This is his collection that came up, and a few caps involved, including Jack Hobbs's MCC cap and other rarities. I remember that Hobbs cap had a few moth holes in it, but it's the one you generally see Jack Hobbs wearing. So quite a nice thing that. I think that went for nearly £1,000 at the time. That was a good 20 years ago. Another couple of rare booklets is a Cavalcade of Anglo-Australian Test Cricket here by E.L. Roberts, and that's from 1877 to 1938. So it's a lot of information here. Lovely little booklet. A few photographs. There's a famous one there of Hammond driving, and there's also one here of the Don. Looks like he's playing the 100 there with a big slog over, big deep long on, but he didn't hit any sixes, so it can't be. So yeah, some lovely write-ups there on the test matches, little short write-ups. So quite a nice little booklet. Another one here was the Who's Who in County Cricket 1937. Again, it's got all the players that play for their counties, Hampshire there, all the averages and what have you, which is quite useful. Gloucestershire there, there's Goddard and Hammond in there, and all the rest of them, Charlie Parker, Jack Crap, all sorts of things in there. So it's quite a very informative little book actually, and it tells you what's coming out in the book world, what was coming out in the book world. My Cricket Reminiscences by Maurice Tate, The Game's a Thing by Monty Noble. What else we got in there? Ranji, and Then Came Larwood by Arthur Maley, How to Play Cricket for England and Yorkshire by Herbert Sutcliffe. All sorts, hundreds of books there actually. It's amazing how many books came out. Bodyline by Harold Larwood. So yeah, quite an interesting little booklet, that one. So anyway, there's a couple of other things here. See behind me here, they've got these goblets, which were given to the players, surviving players, for the 10th centenary test. I've got 5 of these, but 3 on show here at the moment. This one's Brian Statham's. Lovely crystal ring there, straight from my ear roll. That one's Statham. This is Fred Truman. When I bought these, I thought I'd better keep Fred and Brian Statham together. So that's Fred Truman. And this one that's Sir Len Hutton. So some nice names there to conjure with. The other ones I've got are Arthur McIntyre and Cyril Waters. So some nice memorabilia from the past, the Centenary Test 1980. And the photograph behind me here today is England v Australia at Lord's in 1930, second test match. Some famous names on there. Sandham, we got on there Robbins, Hendren, Dilip got 100, Woolley, Hammond, Duckworth and Tate, White, Chapman, Hobbs and Gubby Allen. So that's a lovely, that's a Sports General proper photograph. That's a lovely thing. Not signatures, but very nicely annotated in there. That was obviously a very famous test match, which Bradman scored his 174, I think it was. 154, beg your pardon. And when Ponsford was out as well, straight after being presented to the King, he was out, and that was known as the King's wicket after that. But Australia went on to win the game, and they got a record score of 729 at the time. 200s by England players was Dilip Singh 173 and Chapman's only 121. So quite a good test match there. But it was a couple of years after that we actually won at Lord's. So anyway, that's it for today. I've got the ladies finals day over at Farncombe today, so I should be going over there now. That's why I've kept it fairly short today. So I hope you've enjoyed that and it's been informative. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.